Hi, it's Shannon here from houseimprovements.com. Today I want to show you how to install a floating wall system for in a basement. Floating walls are designed so that it allows your basement floor, the concrete floor, to move a little bit with, if you're in a high moisture area or on really clay land, so that you can allow the floor to still move a little bit up and down without damaging the rest of your house, pushing up on the upper floors, buckling drywall, that sort of thing. So the basic idea is that you frame your wall so that it's tight to the ceiling, but it has about a 1-inch space down below. So you attach a plate first to the floor, to the concrete, just like normal, and then you build your wall 1 inch shorter than it needs to be. You then attach the wall to the ceiling, so it's hanging, basically floating, so that there's a space between the two plates. Then we use a nail here with the hole drilled through the bottom plate. The nail goes in, nails into the piece nailed to the floor, and that keeps your wall from swinging around, moving around at the bottom. And as you can see, it's actually very solid. And once you get the drywall in there, it's even more so. So that's the basic concept. We see this a lot in the area that I'm from. We've got to float the interior walls in the basements. The exterior walls you really shouldn't have to. If your floor is moving that bad on the very outside edge, then you've got other issues. So it's generally floating walls only on the interior type walls. So you can see I've started a couple here just so that you can see what the basic idea is. I've got another chunk of wall behind me that's all framed and ready to put into place. So that's mostly what I'm going to be showing you today, is how to actually position it and get it attached. So I think we'll just cut here. I'll get the wall kind of roughly in the area we want to work, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we've positioned this 4-foot chunk of wall just roughly into the area that I needed it. And what I've done is I've just kind of got it wedged there. I stuck a piece of foam underneath that end just to slightly get it up off the floor so it's a little easier to work with. And I've got, you usually won't have this. I have a piece of 1x4 here, just happened to be in the right spot, and that follows the exact line of this wall, but usually you would just be nailing into the bottom of the floor joist. So you'd have a chalk line or some kind of line marked there for your positioning. So what I'm going to do is I basically need to get that wall up tight to the ceiling, to the 1x4 that's there, and I'm going to fasten it in place so that it's hanging, and then we'll get the bottom positioned and fastened in. So I'm going to start over in this corner, and I'm basically pretty good there. So we're going to fasten that, and I'm just going to work my way along. Okay, so we've got the wall hanging. You can see it's just kind of free floating there, hanging from the top. And we've got our space obviously below. Now, what I did is I went ahead of time and drilled in this space. I've got 3 holes drilled. They're just basically the same size as the diameter of these nails. And the reason for that is so that this wall can still float nicely on the shank of the nail. You want to drill those holes nice and straight up and down. And I'm just going to set these nails in there, like that. To get this started, I want to line up the end of my hanging wall to the end of this plate down on the floor and to the face of the plate. So I'm just going to get myself kind of lined up there. And you just want to hammer those nails straight down as you can through that hole and solidly into the bottom plate that's attached to the floor. Now you'll notice that I've got the nails longer than they need to be, and that is so that we have some room for that nail to slide and move there. If the floor happens to go down from the current position that it's in a little bit, at least it still can pull that nail down and still keep the wall solid. So now I can just keep moving along. I'll go to my next nail. I'm just making these two plates flush. And again, just hammer that nail in there. And the same thing all the way down the wall. So I've got one more left here. Just like that. So you can see, I mean, the studs obviously move that way, but there's really no movement back and forth any more than it would be if that plate was attached completely solid to the floor. So, like I said, this just allows the floor to move a little bit without damaging the walls. So now what would happen when you're finishing this wall, you're going to drywall the wall, but leave your drywall, up an inch off the concrete floor. So your drywall is going to come down the whole face, but stop about an inch short of the floor. That way the drywall doesn't bottom out either on the floor if it moves that much, because that's what we're trying to prevent, is it buckling. And then when you do your casing, you just need to make sure or your baseboard, you need to make sure you're using tall enough baseboard to basically hide that gap. What I also do is because there's an inch space down here, I'll usually add a little strip, about maybe a ½ inch high at the very most, along the very bottom against the floor. So when the baseboard's on there, it sits flat. It doesn't want to tip in underneath. So yeah, that's the basic idea behind it. I don't think there's anything else I can really show you. I'm going to be doing all the interior walls in this basement in this manner, and then hopefully the client will never have any more problems with buckling drywall and cracking joints and everything because of the floor. So hopefully you found that informative. As far as the actual framing, the building of the wall, it's really straightforward, just like any other framing you're going to do. We do have another video on wall framing, so you could go and reference that if you need a little bit of help on your actual framing. Really the only difference here is making sure you have that space underneath here, so you have to cut the wall a little shorter than you would normally. So reference that video. We've got lots of other videos as well on our YouTube channel that you can check out. We've got our website at houseimprovements.com, and we've also got the forum on the website. So if you come up with a problem or a question, maybe you want some help with it, post on the forum and I'll have a look at it, and if I can't help you, hopefully somebody else that regularly goes to the forum can do their work. Okay? Well, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.